Defeating Daesh had been the focus of an international military campaign in Syria. The US-led coalition's intervention has now retaken almost all the territory Daesh once held. But the battle is far from over.
I don't think it's the end of Daesh yet, as we know it. The idea will still persist.
At the height of its recruitment drive, which included slick propaganda, Daesh was able to draw thousands of foreign fighters from all over Europe. While these recruits were often portrayed as being hardline religious members, evidence now shows that, in fact, many knew little about their faith.
I don't think there is an ideology of Daesh. This is what everybody keeps on talking about, the ideology of Al-Qaeda and the ideology of Daesh. And this is a load of rubbish. It just does not exist. These are organizations which are either they are anarchists, i.e. they are against anything, or they are nationalist movement.
With significant territorial losses, Daesh's social media operations have also waned. But now there's a big problem facing countries around the world whose citizens went to fight. Well, I started following the story of European fighters travelling to Syria in 2012. Now, back then, many young Britons were travelling across, not necessarily to fight with Daesh, but ultimately that's where many of them ended up. Now, the British government was slow to respond. In fact, it wasn't until June 2014 that they officially designated Daesh as a terrorist organisation. The question is where all these fighters are now and what will happen when and if they return. A Home Office spokesperson told TRT that anyone who returns from taking part in the conflict in Syria or Iraq must expect to be investigated by the police. And where there is evidence that crimes have been committed, those responsible should expect to be prosecuted for them. In Britain alone, hundreds of fighters have already returned. But senior government ministers have admitted that out in Syria and Iraq, they've lost track of many others.
It is true that Daesh has all but been vanquished from the battlefield, but there are still some pockets of resistance. It's done a lot across the world in places as far away as Philippines and Trinidad and Tobago to encourage people to take up arms for its cause. I think we're living in dangerous times, and I don't think that the UK, France and other countries are doing any favours with their response to returning fighters.
It's now perhaps harder than ever to tell what the next stage of Daesh's evolution will be. Sarah Firth, TRT World.